should I Google people and like send my sweatshirts out to people to try, like, you can look up people's PO boxes, and I don't want to send to the wrong addresses. Like, how do you feel is the best way to go about with, the simple, even with my page. I don't know if y'all go and look, and you can see it's B and then BE underscore poker truthiness. And
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I would
try
say I
to
think
Clubhouse
Justin has some
tea.
good points here. I think
Clubhouse
we have a good
tea.
understanding of where you're going. Justin, I know you unmuted if you want to tap in.
Yeah, sure. So it sounds like the question is centered more so around influencer marketing. So I'll give it a few tips there, because it seems like you know a few people that you want to reach out to, but you don't know how to get in contact with them. So one of the things that I was doing when we first started reaching out to influencers was, well, one, we were reaching out to a bunch of people per hour. So I would literally set an alarm for every hour on the hour, and I would reach out to 10 to 14 people via DM on Instagram, because that's the most people that you can reach out to before you'll get blocked. And I was saying the same message to them, and it was something along the lines of this. Hey, are you offering any paid promotions right now? If so, what's your size and your address? And what that does is it establishes you, one, as somebody that's willing to pay for a service that's going to be rendered, and it immediately gives you respect because you're willing to pay someone for their time, pay someone for their service. Then two, it also gets all of the information that you need in that one message, because when we're talking about influencers, they're usually going to be pretty busy. So if you don't get all of the information that you need in that first message, then you run the risk of not being responded to. And then also, once you do get that information, you can instantly send a package out and then get it to them. So, and another thing that I would do as well is, after you, I mean, it's going to be a numbers game, right? Especially because, if you're reaching out to, we were reaching out to thousands of people, and we might get 5, 10, 15, but the people that we were getting in contact with were on the caliber of like Chris Paul, Tiana Taylor, things of that nature, because what ends up happening sometimes is that when you reach out willing to pay for a service, they respect that, and then they go and look into what you're doing. And then what ends up happening is they're willing to support your brand for free, especially if they stand
Clubhouse
behind the
tea.
because you're
message that you're
trying.
talking about. So that helps out a lot. And then also, what I would do as a little hack as well, well, two hacks. One, once you lock in somebody and you actually get something out to them, I kind of like to guilt trip them just a little bit, because as a small business, every dollar really counts. So when you're sending
Right.
out these garments, it's very important to you, because this is money that we're investing into this. So I always say something along the lines of, hey, this is a small, family-owned business, whatever your story is, and hey, everything that we do here, we're literally investing all of the money. Still have a job, I'm still working, so all I ask from you is just that you give me a tag when you post. Literally, that's it. It would greatly and tremendously appreciate it. And then usually you'll find that some of them do, some of them don't. And then the second thing that I do, once I do lock in an influencer that has a decent caliber, and I'm reaching out to my 10 to 15 people per hour, I utilize the creative that the other influencer made to leverage to land other influencers. So if I reach out to, let's just say how we did it, Chris Paul, we reached out, he wore it, and that was good for us, and he did it all for free. We took the pictures that he got, and then we sent DMs to KD and Jason Tatum and all of these other basketball players, and was like, yo, bro, you're like missing out on the wave. Like, people like Chris Paul and so are wearing it, but like, bro, you ain't got no gear. Like, what's going on with you? And then also, saying the initial message that we would put out as well. And you find that you do, your conversion will be a lot better, because they feel like there's a little fear of missing out there. So that's a little advice on influencer marketing.
All right,
Clubhouse
thank you.
tea.
And then another
Clubhouse
question: should
tea.
I buy Instagram followers? Because people like to follow people who. Because
No.
with my clothes, where I actually sew the stuff myself, I do African print.
Don't do it.
They
Don't do it.
don't do it, okay?
Yeah,
Because
don't do it.
that I didn't buy anybody. Like, I only have 1,000 followers or whatever, but everything is organic and it's fine. But with the
Yeah.
t-shirts, I feel like people like to follow who's people are following. Nobody, like, you look at my page and it's like, okay, oh, her sweater is nice, but nobody knows it.
That's
Nobody follows
that's
it.
how it starts. I want you to like understand
Lo, we're losing you a little bit. Your connection's in and out.
Well,
the grind, the hustle, the not getting the followers right away. That's what builds your character. So enjoy.
maybe I think Glow was trying to get to the point. Like I'd say two big things: never buy, mainly because when you buy, it's hard to unfollow those users who buy you, and you literally ruin your engagement rate for any of the other brands. And people can see this really quickly. Is that if you have 1 million followers and 50 likes per post, like
Right.
that's actually a brand that
It
I'm
makes
never
no
going to buy
sense.
from. Exactly. So definitely don't buy, but definitely see how you could cross promote and barter with other like-minded brands. And the last thing I'll share is kind of what Justin notes is when you're thinking about micro influencers, make sure you, again, I use the term customer or buyer personas very clearly, and really target micro influencers that meet that category. So like in Justin's case, he had a subcategory to go after athletes. He had one athlete do it. And once he got that, he had the proof of concept to go upsell the other athletes to also be a part of it as well. So similarly for you, Joyce, right? Is it figuring out, is it men, is it women, what's their age range, what's the ideal role you want them to be in, and if you could build it off that, you'll be able to better hit the demographics you're targeting for. So be conscious of what your target demographics need to be in order to align with the right micro influencers as well.
Okay, and then my last question, and then I'm done. Do you think it can be a men and female saying? Because I mean, pulchritudinous means beautiful. When you refer to the word beautiful, you think of females. So yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
you think it could go both ways?
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
word. It's a word. Yeah,
True.
the word is not feminine or masculine.
Yeah, and here's the dirty hack in order to figure out if it works. Like this is what I do for any kind of clothing product. I go get mock-ups of it, go buy ads specifically on both Facebook and Snapchat and do target demographics and then evaluate the click-through rates between men versus females, right? And you could actually see really quickly where it's currently converting so you could optimize for it. So the biggest thing is that even though it could work for both, the question is it actually best for you to promote it to both is another important question to ask. Because if you do promote it, maybe say female first, you'll actually will get better conversion. So that's what you really do with the Facebook and Snapchat ads is you confirm what is your key demographic that's already clicking through because that's your top of funnel conversion to potential payout. So definitely try that out as well.
That's
Okay,
solid
thank you
advice.
so much, you guys.
Awesome. Let's go to the next one. Ashley, what's up? Hey, Ashley, you still there? All right. Well,
Oh
maybe we'll
yes,
come
yes,
back.
yes. I was trying to take it off mute. Clubhouse T. Hello.
No worries. How can we be helpful?
Yes, hi, and thanks to everybody that created this platform. Tony, thank you, and everybody that's participating. My name is Ashley. I'm a new business owner. I am. I'm having trouble with converting my followers and my supporters over to Instagram. I'm a Facebooker, so I want to get my following up in my page. My followers on Instagram. We talked. I heard it. I think it was Tony. I'm not sure. Someone talked about having two purposes at once, and I have trouble with balancing because I pretty much can do anything. Like I do hair. I'm a new PMU artist, which is a permanent makeup artist um, for brows. Um, so I promote that on my Facebook page, and I do get a lot of supporters. And also, I've been through a lot of things in life, so I want to create my personal brand as well. But I'm not sure how to go by creating content for people, not just women, men and women that's been physically and sexually abused. I'm a victim. Well, I'm not a victim of that, but I have gone through it. I've overcame it. I haven't let it alter my life. Um, Also, I have a felony, so I'm I'm a felon. But I've also managed to not let that stop me. I've always wanted more. So when I came to a brick in the road with these different obstacles that's happened in my life, I always just wanted more. So when I became a felon, I just tried to find a job that will allow me to work as a felon. And I became a waitress. I'm not gonna be too long, but I became a waitress. And I worked that job, and God seen that I was consistent, that I was motivated to do so. So he blessed me with a job working for a school and with special needs kids. And then I kept going and I kept going. And then 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to work for myself and become an entrepreneur. I told myself that I wasn't smart enough, that I couldn't do it, and that's what I was feeding myself. But when something just came over me, and I just said I can do this. I went to school. I became an esthetician. I'm a year and a half out of school, and I'm just starting my business. So I just want to know how to create content with um, the things that I've overcame and help someone else. I just want to be a voice for someone else and help them through the things that I've been challenged with in life.
Yeah, so I'll
Well,
say that
first off, oh, go ahead.
a couple things to unpack, right? Is what you start with is your story. I hear the shakiness in your voice, so I mean you're still very much so connected to these things. Like there's still some authenticity with that, and that's what I love. And again, I know this is your story, but that's the part that people need to hear. Like this is how you create the story. What I would start doing is understanding, all right, where do you want to begin the story? And then what are you going to create to help people out of it? Because I say there's a lot of things to unpack is because you're talking about, all right, I want to get the people that have been a victim of maybe some type of sexual abuse, but then you have this esthetician. So at this point, I'm going to say, let's start with picking one, right? So the way you would start to develop that story is identifying. I'm speaking on for people that have my brand is going to be for those that have experienced sexual abuse, and I want to be a resource for them, and I want to be somebody that they can come to. I want to be a safe place for them. I want to be able to help them rebuild themselves. But before you get there, I think there should be a process that you take yourself through to rebuild you. One of the greatest things that happened with me, because I hear you telling yourself these negative things, and you have to understand, where did those negative things come from? So I had to understand that my voice was not my own, because I couldn't even compliment myself because so many other people had said something contrary. So I had to go and start cutting off people. You need to change your environment so you can get around people that are going to pour into you, that are going to validate you, that are going to help promote what you're doing and tell you how phenomenal you are. And you got to get to a point where you can tell yourself that. And when you can get yourself out of that situation and get yourself out of there mentally, now I'm going to take other people through that same journey. Because I guarantee you there are several people, there are several men and male and females that have been sexually abused, but do not know how to tell themselves that they're great, that they're still worthy, that they're still honorable, that they're still beautiful, that they still can do things, right? So they are looking for a place. Once you're able to, here's my steps. I will focus on you first, then you can start creating content for them. And what I would do for them is I would create my lead magnet would be a community, a private community where you're creating a safe place for you all to have conversations so they can reveal and vent and start to get repair and poured into on a weekly basis. So you can have a simple group. You can do a Telegram. You can do. I want something more intimate than Facebook. So I would do a Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever that you can have that is intimate. And then every week I would do a live, like go live with them on Zoom or whatever. And then you all start talking like you pouring into them. You start that community, and this is what's going to start to build your brand. This is what's going to start to build you up as you start to pour into other people. That's how I'll rock that.
Hey, I want to
Wow.
Solid
just, I just want to
advice.
come, I just want to come in and comment on that because, like one of the things that like I've been able to do in the last 2 years is tell my story in real time, and I think one thing that has given me growth that has just really been like a firestorm is the fact that I'm so transparent that it's like people are like, holy shit, he's either crazy or he's just like one of the realest I've seen. And I heard you start speaking about, having a felony and your voice begin to crackle. And I've been there before. I was there 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, I was arrested for domestic violence. Found out my girlfriend at the time was cheating, and I snapped. Ended up in jail for 63 days. At the time, that was like one of those things where you go through and you're extremely embarrassed, like kind of like what you felt right now. And when I remember coming and even thinking about coming to the social media platform, I was so intimidated and afraid because of the mistakes I had made in the past. Um, and one of the things I realized as I began to share my story, that it was so many other people that could identify exactly where I had been at, and it really helped me heal myself. I know a lot of times people say you should get yourself together while you before you go and get online. Well, my audience helped me heal myself. Me being transparent and having other people that went through similar experiences helped me heal myself. I think one of the things that we got to understand in life is that ain't nobody perfect. A lot of people try to place judgment, and I heard your voice kind of like go in shame. What I want you to do is understand that until you own yourself, none of that shit matters, right? So you got to own being comfortable in any decision, anything that you had in your past, and don't let that be what determines what your future gonna be like. So many people get caught up in, oh, what I've been through, and they want to go through pity parties and feel shame. I didn't care about the shame anymore because the reality is people gonna judge you anyway. Whether you've been perfect or not, they always got something to fucking say. So what you got to focus on is doing what's gonna make you whole. And if and this is what I would recommend, just like what Word said, find a community that you can build with other people that rock with you and support you, because you're not for everybody. Nobody's for everybody. And the problem is that a lot of people start trying to fucking fit for everybody. I'm not looking for everybody. I'm looking for the people that want to align and rock with me. And that's what will help you go further faster than anything. I've gained over
Clubhouse
160,000
T.
followers in the last 14 months. It ain't many people that can say they did that. Not only did I gain 160,000 followers, I can document and show you proof of the millions that I've also made in that same time frame. I can also show you the thousands of people that rock with me and say it's our turn every single day because they built into the community of me being transparent and sharing my exact story. So you don't have to be perfect or fixed before you start doing stuff, but you got to make a decision on what you want to do. But don't let nobody shame you. Be proud of what you're trying to do and fuck where you've been at. But just use it as a reminder of what you're not going to retrace. That's what I promise you. That if you do that, the rest of that stuff will take care of itself every single time.
I
Yes,
just
I
want to
wanna.
Wow,
say,
that's
I
real.
just really want to say that when my voice got shaky, it's not that I haven't overcame. I have overcame, and that shakiness in my voice is the glory that I want to give God for allowing me to
Amen.
overcome everything that
yes,
every
girl.
obstacle I faced, everything that came through my way. I jumped over it. I kept going, and I'm just so grateful. And I'm a little shaky because I'm
Amen.
talking in front of a lot
Amen.
of people, but overall, it wasn't no sad moment, no pity party. It was a glorious moment that I'm still here because it was a time in my life where I didn't want to be here no more. Where I had the enemy trying to trick me
I
off
feel
this
you.
earth, and I'm still here. So I'm just grateful to be here.
God bless you.
Yes, yes. It's something that well, I appreciate you for sharing that. And I know I've been quiet for a minute, just been absorbed in the background working, but this is beautiful. And appreciate Tony for sharing that story
Clubhouse
too.
T.
You know, the one thing that
Clubhouse T.
I've been talking about with a lot of people about their unique stories, is this that concept of you are uniquely you, and you're the only person that could ever live the story that you've lived. So when we think about, what creates value in this world, right? One of my friends, we were chatting about this, and he was like, if they came out with a coronavirus vaccine and said there was only four vaccines, right? How much would people be willing to pay for that? Paying like trillions of dollars a piece. Right? But if they say, oh, there's 4 billion vaccines, then it's like, oh, okay, it's $40 a pop. You think in that same way for you, it's like you are the only you. Whatever experience you've been through, I went through my experience losing 35 mil, and I hid for a moment thinking like, yo, I can't come out after this like and tell people I'm doing anything that's of value because I'm a loser now. Right? Like I failed. But then I it flipped it, and my mind starts saying, well, wait a second. Like I not only recognize the uniqueness of my own story, but the uniqueness of everybody's story. And that when you share that and you actually own it, and not just own it as like, hey, I'm through that, but like, yo, that's exactly what makes me so powerful, that I've been a part of this journey. And this journey is exactly why I am right here. So every single step along the way, whether it's the painful shit, whether it's the stuff that you're afraid of, that you're embarrassed about, that's exactly what are the ingredients that make you you. And the thing that will allow you to have a different perspective, a different voice, a different story that nobody else can replicate.
And if you own that and you tap into like, yo, this is where something that might be seen as a weakness. I lost $35 million and gained my life. And the type of response that I got from investors, that I got from all the people that I thought like wouldn't fuck with me anymore, like was the exact opposite. They're like, oh, this is great. And if you take that same story and you decide whether or not your story is a painful story that you want to hide, or something that you're going to learn from, that you're going to be able to share, that you're going to be able to inspire somebody else who might be going through the same exact situation and feel like they have to hide, instead of actually being authentic, being real, and actually connecting. And that's where we get into a beautiful place of power when we realize that we can accept every part of our journeys.
Ashley, your work is great. Your work is bomb. It's phenomenal.
Thank
I can tell from being in the hair industry, being in the beauty industry, I can tell how bad you want to make people look good just from looking at your work. So keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to get exactly where you want to be by doing what you're doing right now. Like you're on the right track. I can already see. Like your page is clean, it's neat. When I go to it, I can tell exactly what you do, what you offer. It's nice.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for your story. Really appreciate sharing that. I think just kind of echoing what both Marco and Tony said, there's amazing storytelling here. So owning that, I think, will be really great, and wish you the best of success. And feel free to DM anyone on the stage if we can be helpful.
Clubhouse Tea. Clubhouse Tea.
Awesome. Well, let's go to the next speaker. I think we have Shara.
Yes, that's me. All right. I'm going to do a quick truncated version of just who I am, what I know. So, and then the actual question, that way I don't waste anybody's time in like giving feedback that isn't 100% necessary at the moment. So I am Shara. I am working on launching a home decor and eventually lifestyle brand that really encourages women of color, particularly Black women, to normalize luxury in their life every day. And I'm really working on affordable luxury to remind people that it doesn't have to be like really expensive items or spa days or trips. It can really just be something as simple as a candle that can enhance your experience, because I believe that candles hook up every experience. If you think about, candlelit dinners, birthday parties, spa dates, romantic gestures. So I did soft launch a candle line, which I've already got orders, and I've gotten repeat orders from the customers who received their things on Monday. So I'm trying to develop like just confirm proof of concept, and then of course quality and feedback. That way I can have those testimonials, since I know that candles are difficult things to sell over the internet. With that said, I do know that like marketing is not my forte, and I understand, especially from being in this room, that I need to develop my personal brand, which I'm having some issues with personally. I do suffer from some imposter syndrome, though being on Clubhouse has been helping that, since I went from barely raising my hand to accidentally moderating a room, and then that went to people like requesting me to moderate their rooms as well. So the more I keep talking and telling my story, the more I'm getting more comfortable. But I've also dealt with, I'm shrinking myself, because in the corporate experience, I've had people confuse my ambition as a threat, and then end up with a lot of negative feedback from people who wanted to make sure to remind me that they're bigger than me or higher than me. So I am working through that process. With that said, I still, launch my brand. I do know I need to also get lifestyle photos. So I'm not asking for a social media audit, because I know like I need to figure that out to like really develop that space. But I am hustling. Since I've been on this call, I've reached out to 50 of my friends who weren't aware of the soft launch. I've already received 6 orders. So that's already a 12% conversion rate. I also have, I identified the marketing, the photos. Okay, cool. And I took a lot of other quick notes. I might remind myself. I even reached out to Sham, who was in here earlier. He mentioned a story about his wife and candles. And I slid in his DMs to be like, hey, you said this great stuff about your wife. I would love to gift you some candles for her, because she clearly is a candle lover. But the real, I also texted my lawyer as well because I've been scared and holding myself back financially because building a product-based business that like candles that takes a lot of research and development is really expensive. So I haven't figured out all the legal stuff yet, but I text my lawyer. I'm just like, hey, can we get on a payment plan? Like I need to get this moving, and I know I don't have all the money today, but I want to make sure we're making progress. So with that said, you guys have shared so much great feedback, and what you just told Ashley was really impactful for me as well as someone who's trying to find her voice. But there's so much information here, and I didn't hear anybody discuss mentorship at all, and I might have just missed it because I know this room has been going on for a long time. But I just wanted to hear any like tips, feedback about like getting mentorship or navigating all this information, because they're gems and gems that are dropping, but it can also be really overwhelming to figure out like, now that I have all this information, how do I organize it and create a system and a game plan? So I just wanted to hear any tips, suggestions about the importance of mentorship and also how to go about finding a mentor.
Mentorship, do it for sure. Here's what I look at. One, I want to learn from somebody that is where I'm trying to get to, and here's one criteria that they for sure need to meet. I don't want to focus on somebody that just has success for themselves. A lot of us, we pick the mentors. It's like, oh, he has the car, or she has the car, she has the house, right? That's not the focus.
Clubhouse T.
Show me who else you've helped to get the car and the house. Show me people that you have actually gotten a result from, and that's what's important to me. Somebody else may say something different. I'll give you an example. Like my man, him 500. Like you can see all of the cars in the house and all those things, but he can line up several mentees that have the same exact thing that he has. And so therefore it's like, okay, I can learn from him because he has a system. What this tells me is when I see you can duplicate your own success in your process, this lets me know that you have a process that you can take other people through and get similar results. You have something that you can take me through where it's not just you winging it. I don't want you to wing it. Don't play with my time or money. I don't want you going off the cuff or anything. I need you to have a process and a system that you take me through in order to deliver a result. And so a good thing that I also do is I focus on, I'm gonna get on a call with you. Like if I'm looking for a mentor, I'm gonna see, do they have a free consultation or whatever, and I'm gonna ask my questions. And I don't care about asking 8 to 10 questions, because if I'm spending money with you, I need you to be willing to answer my questions, because there's some things I want to know. Prior to even hitting them up, I'm definitely going to see, like I said, I'm going to look at their page. I'm going to see who else has been through their programs, who else is winning from what they're doing. Another thing, I follow Tony the Closer. I see his students always pubbing him up and talking about like, oh my God, I did the course. Oh my God, this course is so dope. So I'm looking for things like that. I'm looking for, what are people that you're seeing that you've been teaching? What are they saying about you, what you're teaching and your programs? And then that helps me make a decision.
Awesome stuff. I think you're hitting it right there. I was just going to share an additional framework to help people, as well as I think words really broke down like what is exactly you're seeking for a mentor. And again, like kind of what Maddie J would say is like, show me the receipts, right? And making sure that you could find diligence of people they've helped with. I think the other important thing when you're looking about mentors, and I recommend this to others, is recognize there's levels to this game, right? So like what I try to recommend to people is like, you want to rate everyone like on a scale of 1 through 5 on what level they are in this game. And when you do that, then what you should be aiming for is understanding where you are, and then play something where I call 1 up, 1 down mentorship. So if you're at level 2, find someone that you believe is at level 3 and is 1 step above, because they're the ones who are going to give you the most actionable advice to get to their level. They're in the grind, they're doing it, and they can scale. And then, of course, when you get to that level, great, level up and find another mentor at that stage. So I try to seek about 2 to 3 mentors over the lifetime of any product, business, or structure, because I want to level up accordingly. And what I've recognized is when they're 1 level up, I can be the most help. And that's the other thing I recommend, is that if you're also willing to be mentored by someone, be a mentor as well yourself, and bring someone who's one step below you as well along for this ride. And this is essentially what this entire room is, which was what I love, right? We're seeing a lot of scope of knowledge and content and essentially backgrounds. And the idea is that we're all trying to level up one another. So again, when you seek mentors, try to figure out the right structure to make sure they're helping you get to the next level. It's not the guy who's already a billionaire to be a mentor. Dude's gonna be an awful mentor if you're still early in the game. So that's the only other context I'd share alongside what Words is saying. But that was amazing advice there too.
Can I add into that? I think that you should have multiple mentors too. You might have accountability, somebody that just holds you accountable as a mentor, somebody that holds you for yourself, somebody that actually train you in different areas. You might have a life mentor. Like every mentor is going to play a different aspect in your life. You don't want to just oh yeah, I just want to get this mentor because I want to make a lot of money, and that's where you might fall short at. So definitely have different mentors for different areas of your life, because certain people might progress at certain things. One of the things that I heard Tony say, I was on this live and Tony was just like, yo, you know what I mean? Like I had to be coachable. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on this big podcast, like #1 in the world. I'm with Gilly and I'm in Wallow, but I still got to understand, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is their lane, this is an opportunity, and I'm learning the game. So even though, you know what I'm saying, I'm Tony, you feel what I'm saying? I'm still coachable and I'm still learning. And you always got to be coachable, yo. Like, always be a student, a forever student. And like I said, just have multiple mentors, like, because people are going to have access to different information, and it might just, you know what I mean, you might just resonate with you different. But yeah, for sure, mentorship is definitely a key.
Thanks.
And I just wanted to also just follow up with, how would you suggest going about finding mentors when you don't really have anyone accessible? Because
You
unfortunately, I
got
just come.
everybody accessible to you on this app, baby girl. You go find somebody that resonate with you, and that's who you rock with. You can sit on this app for hours, and you'll find somebody. I mean, this is literally a gold mine for anything that you need. Like this is your hub. You sit
I
in here,
want
you
to
spend some time, and you find the right person for you.
I want to add a piece here. This is Danielle speaking again. I have 3 e-commerce stores. I've been in e-commerce for 5 years. My oldest store is 5 years old. That store made me a millionaire in 2018. I've maintained that status since then, more times over through other different ventures at this point.
Let's go.
So e-commerce is just my lane. It's just what I do.
Talk heavy, D.
Clubhouse T. Clubhouse T.
But I feel like, and I don't know anybody else's experience on here when it comes to e-commerce, but I recommend. Uh, I've never had mentorship. I have never had anybody tell me what to do or explain to me how to do things, or even hold my hand in the slightest bit. And I'm where I am today strictly on my own, and that's not a flex. That's not something I'm super proud of. I honestly wish I did, but at the end of the day, I know my personality type, and the same way you just said, how do you find mentorship? That was my struggle, trying to find mentorship in a world full of everybody is a guru, right? And yes, some people can show that they have results, but everybody's individual journey is different. So if I have my students in my course, so I teach Facebook ads to kind of get people to run run ads to their products and services, and that's how they make money. And even though I have over 500 students and I just started teaching 6 months ago, everybody comes in my course at a different scale, right? So I can show that, yeah, I can post 10 results of 10 students today, but I taught 500 people, right? So that other 490, based on where they are in their journey, they may not have those results. And so even when people post results, that doesn't really hold much weight to me. That's just to me. I'm not speaking for nobody else's opinion or perception on here. So because I know that what it takes for somebody to really be successful, and no matter how many people they taught, is only going to be that handful. So you don't know where you are on a spectrum of the people that are having success from their, from the people they're showing. So for me, I just had to learn on my own. And I think the best thing you can do in this e-commerce space is to focus on what it is that you're learning. And this may be a cliche and like a cliche answer that you may not want to hear, but what got me to this point is strictly YouTube. You don't need a mentor. So let's say you just starting out, you're doing product research. You want to find a mentor in product research, in product research, go to YouTube and type in product research.
and then you find and you probably go to maybe 5 or 6 videos before you find a person on there that talks about product research, and you watch their channel, and they're going to have a lot more videos on there. And so you kind of just you find a person who's specializing in what it is at that moment you need help in, right? So if you only need help with product research at this moment, you find somebody on YouTube that is teaching and talking about product research heavy, and then you get past that point, and then now you want to get into, let's say, brand development or logos or whatever. You find a few videos here and there, and those are your micro mentors where you're getting exactly what you need from that person, and it's free content, and you don't have to sort through a bunch of who is this and is it real or not. And that's just me. I've built my entire brand for the past 5 years until now strictly off of YouTube. Like I said, I had no mentor. I didn't know where to look for a mentor in a world where everybody is positioning themselves as gurus and experts. It's just too hard to sort through. So I just went the easiest route, which is YouTube, and that literally carried me to where I am today. Like, that's just as simple as it is for me. And I feel like for a lot of personality types, that for a lot of people that have a similar personality type like mine, where you just don't know where to go, the first place to go for me would just be YouTube, where you don't have to go through all the other um possible options. But that's just me. That's just me. That's all I can speak for, is what I've done and what works for me.
That's awesome. I was just going to share maybe a little bit more for Shara as well. If you were to look for mentors, I think it's awesome to be able to use YouTube knowledge and I think book knowledge. I think Danielle's hit it on the head. I think the other thing I would say is Clubhouse is by far the most valuable network you will ever have. Like, I really want to restate this element to recognize that you are all very lucky to be a part of Clubhouse right now, because the signal to noise ratio is insanely valuable. It's not going to stay like this. So make sure you recognize you're like one digital square foot away from really, really amazing people. So if you are to connect on Clubhouse, the biggest thing I recommend is come correct. And what I mean by that is, don't just ask for like, hey, can you help me? It's like, hey, I've been hearing a lot about what you're doing. I really love the insights. This is what I'm doing. Is there ways that I could tap into your knowledge or anything you just share? Like, really showcase thoughtfulness when you do reach out to people, whether it be here. I do this on Twitter all the time too. Like, I find really amazing people on Twitter. I'm like, hey, I really loved your message here. This is what I've been looking at as well. Like, would love to exchange thoughts. Are you interested? But if I actually share something where it shows that I'm just not looking for, their time, but rather I've thoughtfully thought through that they're the exact right person that I should be talking to, you're really going to build an amazing connection on that. The last thing I'll share as well is that if you want to look at another tool, I really recommend lunchclub.ai is the website. Essentially, it's a networking tool in virtual networking where every week they'll match you with 3 people randomly across the US or the globe that are relevant to you based off artificial intelligence. I found amazing investors. I found people and founders I've invested in on that platform. It's a really cool way as well if you're trying to optimize your serendipity. And then the last thing is definitely look at LinkedIn, target the right people and message them. I am telling you, just sending a connection request with a thoughtful 200 count paragraph, you'll be surprised what doors that open to. So just make sure you're proactive, you target the right people, and you give them a reason to respond back to you, more than just I need your help. More like, you are the right person to help me. Can we chat? And if you do that, I think you'll get a lot of doors open there as well too.
Yeah. I even add to one other thing, if you have the ability to do this, is really identify what it is that the person that you want to connect with needs and find a way to present a solution to that. And one thing that's really interesting about that is, even if whatever you present is completely off, I've gotten messages from people that range from like, yo, check out my business plan, which says absolutely nothing to, to like the needs of why I should care, to like, hey, like, here's something that I think actually fits for you, as Nick was saying, and here's a solution that I have. And even if the solution's not right, or it's not something that's going to be helpful for me, again, that concept of just showing that they put the thought into it is like, all right, this is somebody that I probably can teach. Because the other part about a lot of mentors is like, we want to know that we're going to pour into somebody that's going to use the content that we actually provide. Like, so if it's somebody who's proactive, who's out there, like, when they know that they're doing their grind and they're doing their research and their due diligence, then it already makes it that much more likely that, okay, if I pour into this person, this is going to be some fruit that's actually going to continue to bear more fruit.
Right. Make a cold intro feel warm. I love that, Marco. Great feedback.
No, that's a fact. That's how I found my person that does my Facebook ads. They just came into my DM and just started adding value, and I was just like, they was just serving, and that's how I got every mentor that I got was just serving. Like it's some things that money can't. You know what I'm saying? Like money don't have to exchange. It's just value. It's just serving that need. Like, and that's one thing I love about Tony. Like Tony just serve people. He just got to serve in spirit. But that's literally how I got some of the best people that work for me in my companies. It was like these was people that just was like, yo, we believe in what you do and we just want to serve. And we never had the conversation about money, and everybody is happily paid now. Everybody is good, but they came with the serving mentality, like, yo, bro, we just want to serve. And I'm like, all right, well, I want to pay you. And they like, let's get this service first. So that's like the hack, y'all. Like I hear so many stories of people that's like, yo, I just showed up. I just was there. I just put in the work. I didn't ask for nothing. I just serve. And, then the return just a law of reciprocity.
Cool beans. Thank you so much for that. And I do think I've been networking laterally really well on this platform, but it could be like, again, the imposter syndrome I'm working through that has kind of stopped me from like finding someone a step above to be able to help mentor me. So that was really good feedback. And before I go, I didn't know I wasn't sure somebody's going to say anything. Okay, no. Before I go, I just wanted to know if it's okay if I just plug the room that I moderate now, or will moderate it the other day in case anyone else was interested. I just didn't want to disrespect the space. Cool. No negative. Okay.